to take a moment and ask some questions of Fordham's athletic director. We welcome David Roach. How's it going, Dave?
Terrific. Great to be here today. Beautiful day in the Bronx. 60 degrees, sunny. A lot of people outside. Snow's melting. Playing baseball and softball real soon at home.
Dream scenario, and of course those teams already underway. And of course this is baseball and softball weather right now. It wasn't last week, but Fordham went up to Kingston, Rhode Island, the men's basketball program, and they maybe had their biggest win under Jeff Neubauer. I think a lot of people 2 months ago were wondering about the direction of the program, but they have a couple real marquee wins.
No, Wednesday night was a lot of fun at University of Rhode Island, and first time we won there in 10 years. Low-scoring game. We held them to 43 points. And if you were at the game, it was really exciting because every possession was so valuable because you knew there weren't a lot of points that were going to be scored. And I thought our guys played really, really hard, had a great game plan, and were just tenacious, kind of made the right plays down the stretch to be able to put it away. And a lot of fun, great win. And when you think about it, 4 A-10 road wins this year, 3 last year, quite a few more than we've had in the past, and it's terrific. But it just shows how resilient and tough these guys are, because we all know a lot of injuries, kind of undermanned, not real deep, but certainly getting the most out of everybody on the team. And I usually watch practice every day, and some of the guys that some people think are kind of down the end of the bench, what they do in practice every day is really kind of special and really prepares the starters for the game. And it's really a great group and a total team effort, and they're having a lot of fun.
Well, if those injuries continue, they may not be on the end of the bench for much longer. When you think about these upcoming Fordham A-10 men's basketball home games, and even the possibility that the women could host in the Atlantic 10 tournament in that first round, how do you continue to try and drive fans into seats? Because at times the attendance has been lacking even on some of the more high-profile games here at the Rose Hill Gym.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of a major effort all the time. And before I talk about that a little bit, the women will host next Sunday.
Excellent.
Yeah, we heard from the A-10 yesterday, so that's kind of given next Sunday afternoon. It'll be a lot of fun and a great way to start the A-10 tournament for our home folks. And a good example of they should come out and support women's basketball. Coach Gately does a great job. But as you know, Scott Donnelly, our Associate Athletic Director for Marketing and Promotions, left in December to go work for his dad, who's the president of a high school in New Jersey, and Scott's running their alumni program for them. And we've been moving along and have 4 or 5 people we're going to start interviewing real soon. And trying to find someone in the middle of the year is tough, and we wanted to make sure that we hired someone who could really get things going. And that person's charge will be make every game exciting and get the people here. And we got some really good things going in both basketballs, and you would hope people would catch the excitement and say, these student athletes really play hard, we want to support them, and let's get it going. And obviously with both coaches, we're doing well, and the future looks really bright.
Well, certainly a bright future, but certainly a bright past for this program, and you look forward to the first inaugural Hall of Fame Athletics Gala coming up. And I think there's a lot of excitement from both fans and people in this department for a new tradition for Fordham to help make the Hall of Fame mean a little bit more when people are inducted.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame committee, we started talking about this probably about a year ago, and said instead of great brunch that we had before a men's basketball game and induction ceremony, could we take it into Manhattan, really get it going, make it something special, create a new award, do something for all our captains that come that night. So every captain that comes will get a medallion to wear, and they'll be recognized, and we'll have them stand up. We're going to give out the first Victory Bell Award to Wellington and Ann Mara, and the Mara family will be represented. And then we'll induct our Hall of Fame inductees. And right now, just so that people know, the place holds 500 people, and we're at 358. So it's probably going to be a sellout. And if you want to be there that night and celebrate Fordham Athletics, get your tables and your seats fast, because they're going quick.
FordhamSports.com for more information on that. Should be a really exciting night. And even here in the Rose Hill Gym, there's a lot of buzz right now. There's some renovations that are being planned. You look at the football offices and trying to make Andrew Briner's program a little more of a gem in terms of their facilities. What can you say about current capital projects to try and improve the facilities here at Fordham?
Well, we have two things that we're working on, and I would classify them as, wouldn't say major upgrades, but we announced a year ago that we wanted to put new football offices and some conference rooms where the old fitness center was located in Lombardi, and down the hall, and kind of a big meeting space that needs to be renovated and divided up a little bit. So we have that project, and that's about $2.5 million. And then in terms of the Rose Hill Gym, this summer we want to put in all new seating in the lower area of the gym. And then next summer we'll put in a new floor. So some exciting times, and certainly would love to have people step up and make a donation and make it happen sooner rather than later.
So my check should be in the mail is what you're saying?
Yeah, unless you want to give it to me today.
Yeah, that's right.
Or I could scalp you a ticket for the gala.
Yeah, that
would
sounds
be a good idea,
I'll
you
be
know?
the 359th person
Sure.
to RSVP for that. When you think about not only some changes to the facilities here, but also honoring some of the past players and athletes that really make Fordham tradition so important. Tom Courtenay down in the Lombardi Center was honored a couple of weeks ago, a really fantastic event. And I believe you just saw him this weekend too, right?
Yeah, Tom was up here last night over at the Armory. They had the first Artie O'Connor Invitational. And Tom came up from Florida along with about, probably 40 former track guys who ran for Artie O'Connor. And the whole O'Connor family was there, all the way down to the grandkids. So it was a special night. But we did honor Tom back at our first indoor track meet, where we put up 2 banners in the Lombardi Center, where the track is, where we have recreation basketball and everything. Kind of honoring Tom's accomplishments here as a double gold medalist, world record holder, and overdue, and finally able to do it. And I think Tom got a great kick out of it, and our student athletes enjoyed being around him. And he's really just a terrific guy, a humble guy. And when you think about it, one of our best all-time athletes ever.
Anytime you can say that you've been in the Olympics, I'm pretty sure you can make the argument that you're one of the best Fordham athletes ever.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And if you get a chance, go on YouTube. They actually show the race. And Tom, at the end of the race, had gotten passed by somebody, but then came back and nipped him to win the 800 meters. So it was a special race and a great accomplishment.
Absolutely. Let's maybe leave the past in the past for a moment, look forward to the future. Let's begin on the business side. And certainly a big article that was on FordhamSports.com just recently, but Learfield Sports has agreed to a new deal with Fordham Athletics. It's 12 years, over 7 figures, and James Osborne and that Learfield group certainly going to try and make an impact for student athletes moving forward.
Yeah, we originally signed with Front Row Marketing, and Learfield bought out Front Row Marketing and Nelligan to become really one of the biggest sports sponsorship multimedia rights companies in the country. So it's a great agreement. It works out very well for us, both financially and other aspects of it in terms of trade that we could use and everything. It's a 12-year agreement, and we look forward to having a great working relationship with Learfield. And they can really kind of, with 150 schools that they have, they're able to work some deals where they can combine schools with various sponsors and everything. So it looks really good for us.
What kind of discussions do you have with a Learfield or a Front Row, as it might be at the time, in terms of making sure that Fordham is on the right end of those deals and continuing to improve the financial health of this department moving forward?
Well, we have the right to refuse or okay any deal. So there are certain kinds of sponsors that we're not going to go with. But it's been great, and they really, because they're such a national company, their resources and the ability to go see people in different companies, is far greater than a real small group. And like I say, they have 5 or 6 different schools even in this area. So even in the New York area, they can go to, let's say, a car dealer or somebody and say, we could deliver Fordham and a few other schools, and it's X amount of dollars, would you like to do it? So the resources for James Osborne on his daily workday are just far greater than they've ever been before, and it should work out real well.
And in the past, you've talked about the dollar figures that Fordham has been able to improve upon in your time here, and certainly at Colgate and at Brown, you had similar ability to drive that revenue. But you also did a really good job working on student outcomes at those places as well. And the new Team Fordham initiative is the subject of several questions we received for this Ask the AD segment. What exactly does it mean for Team Fordham to become a part of student-athlete outcomes moving forward?
Well, we've always said that the student-athlete always comes first, and that will always be the number one goal here at Fordham, and it's always been my goal since I got in this profession in 1975 when I was coaching. And we feel obligated to give our student-athletes all the resources to do well while they're here, academically and athletically, help them in leadership, help them in professional improvement, help them get jobs, help them in mentoring. And so with Team Fordham, we're going to have a sports psychologist on call. We're going to do various things with various organizations and companies to come in, talk to our student athletes, and whether that's helping them with resumes or interviewing process, or even certain companies coming in and interviewing students for jobs. The NCAA has given us a grant, which we'll get this spring, which every school in the country will get, based on the number of scholarships that you provide every year. And that's going to give us some good, financial resources to go out and bring people in and do various things for our student athletes. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
One final question for you, and we talk about student-athlete outcomes and putting the student first, and we talk about winning, which of course every student comes here to do. Those are goals 1 and 2. What are goals 3, 4, and 5? What are the things you're working on right now to try and achieve those two things that maybe are indirectly involved with those top two goals?
Well, I think that it's kind of our obligation to make sure we provide our coaches and our student athletes with the resources to be successful. And I've always thought a successful and positive student athlete experience is a high degree of winning or a certain amount of winning, because it's not much fun, let's face it, to be 2-25. So we want to come up with, the Learfield deal gives us some more money to be able to provide things. If we could raise more money through our athletic development office for every sport, then we could take some of the money that we raise now in general athletics and give it to everybody across the board, whether it's in nutrition, whether it's in Tim Ream's Strength and Conditioning Center, or whether it's in sports information and the stuff that you're doing and everything, to increase the brand. And if the brand of Fordham Athletics is perceived to be far greater and kind of synonymous with success, I think it helps everybody, and it's a win-win.
Excellent. Well, Dave, thanks so much for the time as always.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here, and let's hope for a great game today.
For Dave Roach, Mike Watts, keep the questions coming. Ask the AD on FordhamSports.com. So long.